Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, I know it's Saturday. I know I didn't have any training today, so I was minding my own business, and I said, "Let me hop up here." Well, I wasn't even thinking about doing a video today, and something came up, and y'all know I started going down rabbit holes, and one thing leads to another. So debated whether I should do a live, do a pre-recorded. I just said, "Bump it, I'll do a live." We'll see how many people hop in here. Um, we'll see. What's going on, party people? What's going on with you today? Yep, happy top of the morning to you. Man, you got this. I got something y'all going to. Now, I already got the links in the description to what I'm going to talk about. Okay. And it was some questions that was asked. Um, I asked DeepSeek and ChatGTP the same question, but on one of the videos, somebody commented about on your way to your first closing. Yeah, I ain't even doing anything today. I'm just chill. So somebody asked me a question or was making a statement. I'm sorry, not asking a question. They're making a statement, and in their statement, they said something that I was like, I don't think that is correct there. I was like, mm-mm. And it's nothing. I get it. I honestly get what they're saying, but they're incorrect. So somebody had asked a question about dealing with dogs and things of that nature, I guess. So I made a statement, and then I was trying to get an understanding what they meant. And then the person said they always tell the people put the dogs up and things of that nature. And then they said those animals don't know me, and I'm not there to meet animals. I'm there to authenticate documents. When they said that, I was like, "Whoa, we're not there to authenticate documents." And this is a huge misconception that notaries have, thinking that we authenticate documents. So, y'all know how I am. I went over to my favorite little buddy, DeepSeek, and I said, "Well, let me ask DeepSeek." So, oops, I thought I had you. Oh, that's right, I forgot. I had it. I'm always trying to get this stuff prepared ahead of time, and then I forget. All right. So here's what DeepSeek says. So I asked a simple question, and follow me on this, y'all. Okay. I said, in the United States, do notaries authenticate documents? And if so, what documents? Okay. Let me zoom in a little bit more here. So it said, of course, it's a great question, this, that, and the other. And again, a link to this here is in the description. It's the first link, the first DeepSeek link to this. It says, no. In the United States, notaries do not authenticate documents in the sense of verifying the information inside the document is true or valid. And that is something that notaries got to get their head wrapped around. They're constantly thinking that they authenticate. Right. It's not an apostille. And here's the thing. And he talks about that a little bit later. Here's the thing. Titles matter, or the way you perceive yourself matters. If you perceive yourself as some type of authenticator or something, you're going to operate outside of the confines of what you're supposed to. You're going to think you have more authority and more say so and supposed to have more responsibilities than what you should. And that's what a lot of this is all about. So it says their primary role is to verify the identity of the signers and witness the signing process to deter fraud. We authenticate the signature, not the document itself. And a lot of notaries, let me come back to y'all real quick. A lot of notaries really believe that they're there to authenticate documents. Now, some of them are getting this from their TMCs, they're just getting it out of the air, whatever. But we do not authenticate documents. Now, if you accept that, how do you look at yourself as a notary? You look at yourself a little different. Because how do you authenticate a document as a notary? That means you have to sit there and look at it and make sure that the information in there is correct and accurate, and make sure that this is what it's supposed to be for them. That's something, one of the things I teach my notary certificate training. If you are trying to authenticate a document, that means you need to understand that document. You don't understand the document. So how can you authenticate it? And this is no shade at them. This is just pure facts. Okay. We got to be able, when we open our mouths and say stuff, we got to make sure that we understand what we're saying. It's that simple. Okay. So it said the core function of the notaries, this, that, and the other. We take acknowledgments, administer oaths, we witness signatures. What we verify is the signers who they say they are. The signer is signing willingly and without duress. The signer is mentally competent and aware of what they are signing. What we are not there to do is authenticate, or to not to the we're not there to verify the accuracy or the truthfulness of the document's contents, the legality of the documents, whether the document is correct, fair, or a good idea. This is what we do notarizations on, these various different types of documents. The exception is the authentication, which is when you get into the apostille. And then it goes over this. And the notarization, the first document to be properly notarized, county certification. Sometimes counties have to certify certain things. In the state level certification, then it talks about apostilles that used for countries that are member countries of the Hague, authentication certificate used for countries not a part of the Hague. Now, I don't know all of the particulars, so if it's saying something incorrect, my apologies. That is a question. Because, and again, do not take this as a jab at that person. This is just a lot of us as humans. We want to feel more important than what we are. We want to feel more important than what we are. And and that becomes the problem. We're trying to make who we are up here when it's really right here. And being right here is not bad. It's just that's where we're at. We're not up there. And sometimes people want to have a higher view of themselves in order to justify or to force higher pay. I'm just being real with you. All right. And thank y'all for liking, sharing, and subscribing and all of that. Now, y'all know last night. Hold on, let me come back to y'all real quick before I go to this next one. Y'all know last night I've been having discussions about, or been giving my comments about all this notaries going up against the NNA, notaries making people pay us this, dot, dot, dot. So I've talked from my heart and from my head, and just from my knowledge that I've had of the business. So I said, well, you know what? Let me ask DeepSeek a question. Let me, and we're gonna read this question together so y'all can get the full detail. And I'm also teaching y'all how to talk to these AI tools. Now, a lot of people always want to say, "Oh, Griff, that AI tool is wrong. It's saying stuff bad. It's all backwards and all of that." Okay, and the reason why they say that sometimes is because of where they get their information from. So, like ChatGTP, which is the third link at the top part of the description here, you're going to see it has a lot of links to articles. It doesn't define the articles, doesn't break it down, doesn't make it. It just said, here's these articles, and it's pulling information from there. ChatGTP gave a different perspective, about the same, but a little bit different perspective than what DeepSeek did on this question I'm about to read to y'all. And it's concerning notary pay. Okay. So bear with me as I read through this. Okay. And read it with me so we can make sure we understand, and then tell, and also tell me if I'm not asking the question correctly. Okay. So, and I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more. Oops, I'm zooming in on the wrong screen. All right. Yeah, there we go. So this is what I'm asking the AI tool. My business is a mobile notary one. In it, I provide notarial services for a variety of businesses and individuals. The main aspect is loan closing for various lenders, titles, and signing companies. During my 7 years in the business, over 85% of the notaries complain about the fees they get paid from the various entities I mentioned. The fees range from $40 to $200. I just had to throw a fee range in there for different types of loan closings. I think the issue is that notaries don't understand how and why the lender, title, and signing companies determine what the fee paid to the notary will be. Sometimes, some notaries believe there should be a standard fee paid to the notary from all companies. Can you explain, describe, or enlighten notaries on how these companies determine the notary fee? If there are examples like documents, videos, please share. Now, did I miss anything in that? See, before I show y'all the answer, which y'all can see it in the, do y'all feel that I missed anything? Did I capture what we've been complaining about with regards to the fees? It's either yes or no, or sort of iffy. I need to know, and also let me know what could I have said, because I'm doing this based off of the complaints that people have shared with me publicly, talk to me on stuff, as well as privately, and what I'm hearing from other people are saying. Okay. All right. Now, here's the answer that DeepSeek gave me to this question. And this is why I need y'all to share this video out. After you see this video, after you see the answer, I promise you, you should add what will be the implication. Oh, that's covered it too. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that, Natural Justice. You on point. It is articulated in here. When y'all see this answer, every single one of y'all got to share this video. Okay? You got to share this video. So, and it's going to take a little bit to go through. Okay? So bear with me. Of course, this is a fantastic and crucial question that gets to the heart of the business side of mobile notary work, especially in the loan signing arena. The frustration from notaries is completely understandable, but the fee structure is rarely arbitrary. Okay. So I hope you understand what the word arbitrary means. Okay. If you don't, look it up real quick. Let's break down the why behind the fees, which can be framed as a lesson in business economics for your fellow notaries. The core concept are you are a subcontractor in a supply chain. I like the way it said that. I never thought of saying it that way. I probably was real close to saying it like that, but it just didn't click. We are a subcontractor in a supply chain. That's why I did the videos about the lender, the title, the signing, then us. That is the supply chain for somebody to get a real estate transaction done. Ooh, boy, that is good. Tell your pastor to look at this video so he got something to preach on tomorrow. All right, because he might be stumped on something to preach about since the government shutdown is over. So tell him to talk about the subcontractor supply chain. The most important concept for notaries to grasp is that lender title companies signing services are not their employers. They are their clients. The notary is a subcontractor providing a specialized service. The fee paid is not a salary, but the price for a delivered service. And that price is determined by market forces within a complex supply chain. Here's the breakdown of how and why fees are determined. And again, this is DeepSeek. It's not 100% accurate, so don't get mad. Just understand that, yes, this is just a generalization of what I asked. Most notaries, it said, the primary driver, the signing service, the middleman model. Most notaries get their assignments from signing services, such as these here, not directly from lenders or title companies, which is, I've been telling y'all that for years. There's not enough business from your individual title company in your city, in your county, to fund and feed all the notaries out there. It's not. It is not enough money to feed all of us from a direct title company. It's not. Then it goes on and says the flow of money. The lender charges the borrower a notary fee or settlement agent fee on the closing disclosure. This fee is often standardized, say 150 to 250. The lender pays the title company to manage the closing. The title company uses a signing service to find a notary. They pay the signing service a flat fee for this service, which includes the notary pay. The signing service takes a commission anywhere between 10 and 40% for managing the assignment, providing the platform, vetting the notaries, and ensuring E&O insurance. The remainder of the fee, the remainder is the notary's fee. Example, $75. So a borrower is charged $175 on their CD for notary signing services. The title company pays the signing service $100. The signing service keeps 25% for their commission, which is $25, and the notary is paid $75. Is this making sense? Hold on, let's stop there for a moment. Okay. Especially those of you who've been doing this for a minute, do you sort of see this? Does that seem like the right flow of how this is going? Because remember, everybody got their eyes on that CD. I see this fee here. And then it gets broken down little by little by little. That's what I'm seeing here. Okay. That's what I have seen in the process. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm seeing. All right. So let's roll back over here. So now here's the thing. He said, this is the most common source of frustration. Notaries see the CD fee, the fee on the CD, and assume they should get all of it, not understanding the layers of service and commissions in between. This is what the TMCs are teaching you. And y'all know who the main perpetrator of that bull jive is. So, thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you. So, they're telling us, look at what they're getting, and that's not right. Okay. That's what they're saying. So then it says how the title company lender sets the price for the service. When a title company or lender decides to pay the notary, the price they are willing to pay the signing service, they consider several factors. Okay. The loan type and document complexity, about the refinance being this 80 refinance, often the lowest fee. A lot of times it's e-sign, few wet sign documents. That's what we're seeing a little bit more of. The purchase package from this fee here. Then it says the reverse mortgage for that. The links are in the description for all of this here. That's why I'm not going to go read all of this. This is stuff that y'all can read on your own. Geographical location. So all of these are factors that they take into determining. Okay. The urgency. Is it a 2-hour rush? Is it a 3-day in advance? All of that. The notaries pay a premium for their availability. Volume and relationship. This is key. This is why I keep sharing with y'all to go out there and do the work. A notary who does high volume for a specific signing service or title company can often negotiate higher fees. They are a known, reliable commodity. A new notary with no track record gets the standard entry level rate. That's what a lot of y'all are complaining about. Okay. That's what y'all are complaining about. And I get it. That's where I was at. That's where Caprinas was at. That's where a lot of us was at. Market competition, the brutal truth. The notary industry, especially the loan service, the loan signings, has a very low barrier to entry. There is a large supply of notaries. From the company's perspective, if one won't take 75 for a refinance, 10 others will. The fee is often set at what the market will bear. So I understand. Let me come to you. So I understand the concept of, well, just don't take it. You now got to find a way to convince every single notary not to take this. The problem is that in trying to do that, you're telling the notary business owner not to make money. Because if I don't take it from them and there's no one else who's willing to put work out here in my area or select me, how do I make money when I could be making money at the $75 level? And who's going to feed my family? As I ignored that order because you said don't do it because it'll force them to pay higher. I have not seen that. I have not seen anybody come out publicly and say, "Oh yeah, that is working for because in my area it was this and now they're paying." I have not seen that as a general rule for the whole one like a geographical area. I have not seen that whatsoever. Starting to get good now. So here's your question being answered, National Jesse. Why a standard fee is economically unrealistic. The idea of a standard fee, while appealing, does not align with how markets for services work. Think of it like any other service. You don't pay a mechanic the same fee to change your oil as you would to rebuild your transmission. You don't pay a plumber the same fee to fix a leaky faucet as you would to replace a water heater. Similarly, a simple refinance signing is an oil change of the industry, while a reverse mortgage is their engine rebuild. Paying them the same would be unfair and unsustainable. How to educate, how you can educate your fellow notaries a shift in mind. Here's where it gets good, even better. As a notary, as an experienced notary talking to me who wrote this question, you can help reframe the conversation from why won't they pay me more to how can I justify and command a higher fee? Is this not what the heck I've been saying for the last 2,416 years? Yeah, it's been that long. I've been saying that. Everybody running around, pay me my money, pay me my money. But you cannot give them proper justification to say, I need to be paid more. Cabrina said, let me come back to y'all real quick. From my perspective, I believe the understanding of the fee on the settlement statement is the idea to go direct and get the full fee. And that now that fee also is to the title company because when you say the full fee of what? Because if you see the full fee of 450, that still don't mean that the notary gets 450. Okay. But if you see it there for the signing service that 150 or what have you, then yes. But here's the thing. Now you get into the question of how do we actually get to the person who makes the decision to hire us directly and then be available to them every time they need us to be. Because what you now got is, and the AI2 doesn't cover this part, but what you now have is a title company saying, I'm gonna pay you this fee, but I'm still working with a signing company. So now you got two different pay structures. But what happens when you're not available? That's why they go to the signing service because the signing service, like, hey, don't worry, if we'll get Griff. If Griff ain't there, we'll get Caprentice. If Caprentice ain't there, we'll get Trayvon. If Trayvon ain't there, we'll get Serenity. We will find you a notary. That's that was the whole premise of trying to have a signing company or getting signing company or notary databases to where you could select from a variety. You then have to find out how does that mess up with their economics. I'm not saying it can't be done. I believe it can be. And in my case, it is because there's people who I do direct work for, and they probably still pull people from signing companies to do things, but there's certain direct work that they want me to do. So it can be done. It just depends on whether or not the powers that be will allow it. And then Serenity said, side note, I did $100 signing 2 weeks ago. It was over 100 pages. The title lost the note. Now I have to get it re-signed. They're paying me 50 to go back, but I'm sure this is rare and unheard of. Yeah, you're right. I think that happened to me one time with a reverse mortgage. I think they lost the note and then they blamed me for it. And I know that I did not. I know I didn't lose that note, but they claimed that I lost the note. And they had two copies of the note in there. And it was a reverse mortgage. And they claimed that I did. But I believe to this day that they lost the paperwork and then they tried to blame me. And the only thing that I made a mistake of, I did not do a scan, and I normally would do a scan, but that was during the time when my pops was sick and he was passing away, and my mind was all over the place, and I was under a lot of stress. So I took a shortcut of not scanning it. It was no scan required, but I said, well, I ain't gonna worry about it because I know I'm doing everything right. And they came back, oh yeah, we can't find the notes, both of them, and I'm like, nah, that ain't. So I feel you on that, Jessica. And no, that is not normal for them to lose that, but it can happen. All right. So now here's what I can do to help y'all, which I've been doing. That's why I love this so much. And I wasn't going to do a video today, but when I saw this, I said, I got to stop focusing on the borrower CD. The fee charged to the borrower is irrelevant to your business. It includes many services and overheads you are not providing. Focus on the value you bring. Understand your value proposition. You are just a warm body with a stamp, or are you a professional? A basic notary takes a low fee job, follows basic instructions. Now, this is where, and y'all know I'm at I forget the proper word. This is why I'm at odds because I always fall back on what does your state require you to do? And I don't think you have to be considered a professional signing agent to get a high fee because none of the companies who paying me the $200, the 300, the 400 to do stuff, they don't look at me as a professional signing agent. They look at me as a reliable notary. I'm just being real with you. So this professional signing agent invests in continuous education, has pristine errors and emission assurance, understands the documents they are handling, all of that. Those are talking points from the NNA and from everybody else. But when you really get down to it, again, it doesn't mean that the person knows how to do the notary part. What's crazy is when I've done other research, it always come back that as a basic notary, you know how to properly notarize, but it never talks about as a professional signing agent, you know how to notarize. In all of the research that I've done, it only equates proper notarizations to somebody doing basic notary stuff, and then they want you to do all this other stuff. So it says act like a business, not an employee. Then it says specialize, be the go-to expert for complex signings like reverse mortgages, commercial loans, build direct relationships. The goal for every notary should be to bypass the signing services where possible. Network with local title companies, real estate attorneys, all of that. Direct relationships offer higher fees. Negotiate when a signing services offer a low fee. A professional can politely counteroffer, and I am available at that time. My rate for a refinance in that area is this. Given my certifications, dot dot dot. Can you meet that fee? Once you understand that that person, that entity cannot do that, don't keep bugging them that month. Maybe go back later and then, but at some point you got to make a decision. Am I just going to go do it? Because it is money that I can make. Not the money that I will personally want, but it is money that I can make. Then it goes on to says here, helpful resources, video search, YouTube topics like how to just pay and all of that. industry platforms. I don't trust Notary Cafe at all. I do not trust them. I don't trust the Facebook groups. None of that. Document examples. There's no single document but you can look at a closing disclosure, this, that, and the other. This is the part that kicked that really threw me for a loop. The conclusion. And I would say it in the voice of our teacher. All right, class, let's read it all together. Read it in your own head or out loud together. The fee disparity is not a conspiracy. It is a function of a complex, layered market. The path to higher fees isn't through wishing for standardization, but through professionalization, specialization, and direct marketing. By understanding the why behind the fees, notaries can stop feeling like victims of the system and start acting as strategic business owners within it. See if I can copy and paste that. In the chat might, I don't know if that might be more than, yeah. All right. My question is, what don't y'all understand? That's the question. What don't we understand? Because it's telling us. I mean, I don't know what more do you need to hear. Because see, now the next question would be, okay, based off of that, then how do we as notaries come together as one unit to have the whole lender, title, and signing service industry pay us a higher fee? How do we, as a group of notaries, come together? Is there a way that we can come together and get all of them to give us what we want? That's the next question I'm going to ask it. I ain't gonna do it right now, but that is the next question because and I'm trying to make sure I format it right. That is the question because that's essentially what we're saying, that we need to stop being individuals, getting our own individual deals. Yeah, my deal is better than yours, but guess what? You don't really need to know what my deal is. You figure out how to work your deal. Instead of being individuals, it's let's come together as this one unit and we're going to march the hill and we're going to make them give us what is rightfully ours. But I already have what is rightfully mine and I'm doing very well with this. So help me to understand why are we doing this? And I know people like, man, you just beating a dead horse. They not stopping. I'm not going to stop. I ain't going to talk about it all the time. But I'm just saying, as things pop in my head to try to help solidify this in your hearts and mind, and then ask them questions. That's why I put the links in this. So now you take that to them and say, okay, well, what do you got to say about that? Because the question again is always, how do we do it? What is the plan? Because I'd be honest, if there was truly a way to do it, it would have been done long ago. It wouldn't have been all this emotional ups and downs and making you feel bad. It would just be like, okay, here's the plan, let's go. Because you know this is going to take 3 to 5 years. If this was doable, it's going to take 3 to 5 years for that to permeate through 40% of the mortgage industry. Because it's always going to be people that's going to be resistant. So do you have 3 years to wait? Because they said don't take the $75 order. Okay, fine. Will you be in this business for the next 3 years, not taking any orders that's under $100? And granted, you might be doing this full time. So you got to figure out how to take care of your family on whatever little money you get for the next 3 to 5 years. Are you willing to do that? Can you do that? I'll be honest, I know I can't. So that's the way I look at it. So what are y'all thoughts? Seriously, what are y'all thoughts on this? Give me your thoughts on this right here. I would love to hear your thoughts about this because he- help me to understand if I'm wrong in all of this. And I did it also in Chat GTP. They dealt with some other stuff that was really good in here. They kept referencing some articles that I'm not necessarily cool with. Some of the stuff that they, neglect to really talk about. But I wanted to give y'all something to compare to, so y'all could see how the AI tools view this here subject. So what do they understand is no industry across the state lines pay exactly the same fee for. I like that. That's what you have to understand. So the whole concept of you're going to do it the way I want it done, I don't see how that's going to happen. I'm not saying that I don't see how it can happen right now without some concessions on both sides. And like Prince just said, it's pretty simple. So now the question becomes this: do I have what it takes to work the business at the point that it is in my area, in my life, to where I can make the money that I need to make to take care of my family? It's either yes or no. If the answer is yes, I can work this. Yeah, I can take that 75 and I can make groceries with it. I can pay the light bill. Then go do it. But now I really want to get it higher. Okay, then know that while you're trying to get a higher fee, you're going to be struggling financially and you're not going to be able to take care of your family. So sometimes you gotta sort of like, okay, let me make the money that I can make. Let me show myself a good and faithful servant. Let me show them that I can get in here and do the work while everybody else is sitting off on the side with their little picket sign. Just imagine this a picket sign. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They sitting up there with their little picket sign. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pay me my money. Pay me my money. And you over there working your butt off. Who you think they're going to be more willing to compensate? The person that just bailed on them so they could walk around in a circle on a street corner talking about pay me my money, or the person that got in there and worked? And yes, there are some companies that can do you dirty on either end, but I think they will be appreciative of the fact that you stuck in there. That's what I'm seeing. And that's what has happened to me in my life. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. It was on my mind. It popped in. And I said, man, I gotta share this with y'all. So take it for what it's worth. As I always say, you're going to do what you want to do. A lot of y'all hear me like, yeah, that's nice, girl. And then you run right behind these folk with this foolishness and you buy into it because that's where your heart is really at. And I'll be honest, there's some people that have told me, well, they actually look at my channel just to see if I'm going to change my mind. They have no desire to follow any of this information that I put out there to research it for themselves and to make the determination for themselves because their mind is already made up. That is what I want. And they can be shown by me and others that that might not be the best plan. I don't care. That's what I want. And I'm going to fight for that. Okay. And people have told me they check in to see, they look at my video just to see if I've changed my mind. Oh, you still talking that same? Oh, man, why you talking the same way you did back in 2021? I have no reason to change. But people check on me to see if I change my tune. I'm like, nah, my tune is the same and just as strong. So, any other questions, comments, observations about what we covered today? Feel free to look at the replay. The links to all of this information is in the description. So you can pull it up and read it for yourself. This is not stuff that Griff made up. I didn't manipulate DeepSeek or ChatGTP to say what I felt. DeepSeek is more closer to my thoughts of what I've said than ChatGTP. And I'm telling you, The answers are there, but it's up to you whether you want to live in it. Okay, you either want to walk in the truth or walk in a lie. All right. Well, y'all have a good one. Talk to y'all later. Peace.